Hello from Pasadena, California. We're now just 2 days away from the Alabama Crimson Tide taking the field behind me in the 2024 Rose Bowl. And today the Rose Bowl hosted Media Day as players previewed the game. You know, these bowl games pretty common for Alabama nowadays. 19 straight bowl game appearances for them. So today at Media Day, we asked the players, what do you need to bring to survive a bowl game week? For 130 years of Auburn football, 27 men have taken the field as the head coach of the Auburn Tigers. And after an offseason of hype and expectations, Hugh Freeze ran out of this tunnel and became the 28th head coach of the Auburn Tigers. End of an era in Tuscaloosa as this afternoon Alabama head coach Nick Saban announces his retirement from coaching after serving as the head coach of the Crimson Tide since 2007. It's an Iron Bowl that will live on for eternity. The Alabama Crimson Tide have their prayer answered and are your 2023 Iron Bowl winners, taking down Auburn tonight 27-24. Hello from Jordan-Hare Stadium where history was made tonight. Nolan and I here with Max Cohan. Max, it happened again. An instant classic in the Iron Bowl here at Jordan-Hare. Hello from the streets of the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, where the SEC quarterfinals got underway today. In fact, they're still underway as we speak. The Alabama Crimson Tide are in action against the Florida Gators in the SEC quarterfinals. And because that game is still going on, we legally can't show you the highlights just yet. But if you're an Alabama fan, you probably wouldn't want to see the highlights anyway. The Crimson Tide went into halftime trailing by 15 thanks to the Florida Gators going on a 21-2 run. What better way to burn off those Thanksgiving calories than by taking a trip to downtown Huntsville to cheer on the Huntsville Havoc. The Havoc coming off of a win last night against Roanoke. We're hoping to give the home crowd something to cheer about early, taking on the Peoria Rivermen tonight. They were on the attack early. Nice shot on net here, but a nice kick save from Brian Wilson. That would keep things all tied up at 0. Then on the counter, the Havoc got one of their best shots off. Brandon Osmondson fires it, but it's off the bar and into the stands. They'd get more chances, though. Phil Exton fires and scores. Huntsville on the board in the first period, and here come the Teddy Bears. Hundreds of stuffed animals were thrown onto the ice tonight as the Havoc hosted a teddy bear toss to benefit Toys for Tots. And also, they grab a win tonight, 4-1 over the Rivermen. They'll be back in action again to take on Peoria at 7 o'clock. We're just 2 days away now from the 88th Iron Bowl, one of college football's greatest traditions. Years and years of classic moments that will live in our memories forever. From Cam Newton's 24-point comeback in 2010, from maybe the greatest play in college football history, the kick six. Chris Davis, 109 yards from his own end zone to walk it off in Jordan-Hare and send the Tigers to an SEC championship. There have been countless timeless plays in this rivalry, even as recently as 2021 when Bryce Young led the Tide from behind to take down Auburn in the first ever overtime game between the two. The Iron Bowl always seems to bring us classic moments. And the moral of this story is even though the Crimson Tide enter this game as 2 touchdown favorites, when these two teams meet, especially inside Jordan-Hare Stadium, anything can happen. And that's exactly what head coach Nick Saban alluded to yesterday in his preview of the 88th Iron Bowl.
This is a very special.
Yeah, speaking of big-time SEC rivalries, the 2023 edition of the Egg Bowl got underway tonight, and it was the Bulldogs that would take a lead in the third quarter with this Will Rogers plunge, but Ole Miss would strike back. Handoff to Quishon Judkins. He dives ahead. Rebels back in front 10-7. And then in the fourth quarter, this strike would be the difference. Jackson Dart had a great game. Play action, fires. He connects with Caden Pierce scoring as it's the Rebels that claim the Egg Bowl tonight, 17-7. Speaking of big games this week, we roll out our final edition of Big Game Friday night tomorrow night as the state high school football quarterfinals kick off. Here's a look at all of our quarterfinal matchups in Class 6A. Muscle Shoals hosts Clay Chalkville. Gunnersville will be hosting Pleasant Grove in the 5A quarterfinal. West Morgan will host Cherokee County in our Big Game Friday night game of the week. Brooks and Westminster Christian will square off. In Class 3A, Madison Academy puts their undefeated season on the line against Sylvania. Geraldine, they'll travel to undefeated Lauderdale County, while finally in Class 2A, Locust Fork is at Fife, and Tuscaloosa Academy makes the trip north to take on Pisgah. How about we turn our attention to the hardwood? Tomorrow, the Alabama Crimson Tide will be in action in the Emerald Coast Classic. The Tide will square off against Ohio State tomorrow at 6 o'clock. As the 17th ranked Tide look to move to 5-0 on the season. OSU is 3-1 on the year with their lone loss coming against Texas A&M earlier this month. This will mark the 7th all-time meeting between the two schools. Last time the Tide and Buckeyes met way back in 2002. And this week, head coach Nate Oates previewed the Big Ten school and stressed just how physical he expects them to be.
Ohio State's.
Yeah, how do you wrap up 17 years of wins, memories, trophies, titles? The legacy that now former Alabama head coach Nick Saban leaves behind is one that will probably be impossible to follow, but it is one that you can celebrate. And as I combed through old footage of Nick Saban's trophy presentations and press conferences, one thing stood out: the countless memories that the legendary head coach left Alabama fans with over these last 17 years. Who knew that when head coach Nick Saban arrived in Tuscaloosa in 2007, he would retire as the greatest college football coach in history 17 years later? Saban, who won a national title at LSU in 2003, left the NFL for Tuscaloosa and never left, winning 6 more national titles in 17 years. And in those 17 years, he left Tide fans with a lifetime of memories. From winning the Tide's first title in 17 years in 2009 over Texas in the Rose Bowl, to raising the trophy a final time in 2021 inside an empty Hard Rock Stadium. The priceless memories Saban brought to Alabama will live in college football history for eternity. How could you forget his redemption over LSU in 2012? His back-to-back title a year later, embarrassing the Manti Te'o-led Fighting Irish 42-14, bringing in calls to expand to a college football playoff, to then continuing his terror of FBS football, appearing in 4 straight national titles, winning in 2016 and 2017, proving that in whatever format, BCS or CFP, Alabama would be in the national conversation. But it wasn't just the success on the field that kept Bama fans cheering on the West Virginia native. It was his decades of terror that he gave to the media in his weekly press conferences and call-in shows.
Both guys can help our team. All right, so why do you continually try to get me to say something that doesn't respect one of them? I'm not going to, so quit asking.
All right, and no matter what happens, we need to have a process to make it work in every game that we play. Every game that we play. Can't assume anything. I don't even know what you asked me, but I just wanted to say that.
Come on, give me a break. This is not professional football. These guys aren't getting paid to play here. They're representing you all. You should be proud and happy to support them and appreciate what they do and have some gratitude. And you know what else? Nobody wants to win worse than they do. Not me, not you. I don't care what kind of fan you are. Nobody wants to win more than the players that play. Nobody.
Huntsville City FC is getting ready for its 2nd season in MLS Next Pro. And to get ready for the preseason, they hosted tryouts. So I decided, why not take my best shot at it? It was time to trade in the microphone for some cleats, sign a waiver, and pick a jersey.
A lot of pressure on me. Jack Collison's number, as well as WAAY-31.
And it was all to impress this guy, Jack Collison, the head coach of HCFC.
Keep yourself moving, stay active, and if you've got any questions, just find someone in the black floating around, okay? Perfect, let's go on.
After we split up into teams, it was time for warm-ups, which gave me an inside look of what I was in store for.
I'm already tired.
And then it was time to play. And after a few completed passes here and there, seeing my team score on a nice header, I had my first chance at glory, only to completely fall apart and turn it over.
That's all I had. Now I got to take it from me. Hey, sub.
And after one too many turnovers, I was subbed out with my head hanging low. I did receive some words of encouragement from the head man himself.
Completed like 3 passes, had 3 turnovers, you know, even on the day.
Hey, you started well with a couple of
Yeah.
So for the rest of the tryouts, it was all about staying out of the way and promoting Way.
Yeah, I'm the sports guy. So like, if you watch it 6 and 10, it's me.
For Huntsville City FC, though, they need no promotion. Head coach Jack Collison and his crew are expecting a big 2nd season in Huntsville.
And maybe setting out the expectations, it should be a bit easier now to carry it over. And as I said already, try and add a little bit more each year, year on year, and we feel like we've done some really good work in the off-season. So we need to start fast this year. 7 games on the road last year was tough at the start of the year, so going to try and turn the Joe into a fortress and do what we need to do.
All right, so there you go. It's no secret I did not make the team this year.
Yeah, we'll give you some feedback.
But thanks so much for having me here today. It was a blast, Coach. For Jack Collison, I'm Nolan Knight with WAAY-31 Sports.
Delmar Williams at the county tournament.
From Florence, Alabama, standing at 6 feet and 42 years old, Delmar Williams is lighting up the court and faces across the Shoals community.
The highlight seems to be Delmar, and most of the fans will probably agree with me.
Delmar is a staple in North Alabama, from sinking half-court shots during halftimes to singing the national anthem before the games. There isn't much that Delmar Williams can't do.
Anything that Dale does, he's going to give it 100%. He's going to give it all he got.
And that mentality of trying his best has made Delmar a local celebrity in Alabama, traveling to different schools dressed to the nines and sinking the beloved half-court shots.
Daddy go, Jim.
Nothing but net.
Right, that's what he says. That's what Bill says, nothing but net.
Bill has been taking Delmar to athletic events for 7 years and has gotten to see Delmar's impact on the Shoals community firsthand.
The kindness and love that he brings and that he unites throughout our city, our county, across the river, with all of the fans, all of the kids, teachers, coaches, it's just really an incredible story to me.
Nothing but net. You gotta be kidding me.